The X-Men are under attack. They don't know who they can trust, and they don't know where the next blow is coming from next. How will they ever overcome? Well, let's hop into Extermination issue number 2 and find out for ourselves, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up from where the last issue left off, young Cyclops is still dealing with the fact that he lost his love and his future son all in the same day. Young Jean does her best to comfort Cyclops, saying that she's here to talk if he wants it, but I mean, really, can anyone really sympathize with what he's going through right now? I mean, it's so quintessentially X-Men and also so quintessentially soap opera all at the same time. Now, having lost two of their own and having young Bobby Drake kidnapped, Kitty Pryde is on the offensive now. She calls together a war council of all the different X-Men teams, and we get this truly wonderful little panel right here where we get to see all of them crowding around in Xavier's office, which has to be huge, am I right? Pick out your favorite from this image. It's like a Where's Waldo book. Oh, I should also probably mention Shatterstar is there too. He's mad about the death of Cable because the two had a history. It's also important to note that he has a brand new costume that you can see more of in the Tim Seeley solo miniseries that's coming out soon. With no other clues to go on, Kitty Pryde and the rest of the X-Men team leaders pretty much jump to the conclusion that Ahab is behind all of this. After all, he killed Bloodstorm, tried to kill Cyclops, but maybe, just maybe, he outsourced the killing of Cable and the kidnapping of Iceman to someone else. They also more or less jump to the conclusion that Ahab must want the young time-traveling X-Men for some nefarious time travel-based purpose. Eventually, they hit upon the idea that perhaps the best way to keep the young time-traveling X-Men safe is to break them up into 4 different teams because, well, there's 4 main X-Men books right now, isn't there? Cyclops gets all incensed about this course of action, thinking that the older X-Men are treating them like children that need to be babysitted and needed to be coddled, while he just wants revenge against Ahab. Ah, you know, Scott, I was this close to actually sympathizing with your plight, and just like that, you piss it all away by being a whiny numpty and going all rogue on us. Well, okay, maybe rogue isn't the right word, plus you could confuse it with the X-Men rogue. I mean Maverick, which again is also not to be confused with the X-Men, who is also called Maverick. Cyclops' little impromptu temper tantrum ends up getting cut short by a series of tranquilizer darts that get shot into his teammates. It seems that young time-traveling Cable has found them. Which, you know, given the fact that he attacked them right at home at the X-Mansion, right when there was a bunch of high-level mutants there, goes to show just how desperate young Cable is. And while he manages to abscond with Angel, he's now fully shown his hand, and the rest of the X-Men team know what they're dealing with here. It doesn't give them any answers, but they know what they're dealing with. Now, you might be wondering if old time travel rules still apply in this situation. That is, if one of the younger team members of the X-Men die, does that mean their older counterpart dies as well? A very good question that Hank McCoy Beast is able to explain away by saying that it's wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, and no, just if a young person dies, that doesn't mean their older counterpart will die. Anyone could die. One has to wonder if this also covers the situation of a horrible maiming, because when young Cable gets Angel back to his hideout, he quite literally clips his wings. Ah! That A, looks incredibly painful, and B, you're gonna be cleaning up feathers for months. Also, because Warren's technically not dead, I don't get to add him to the X-Men Extermination death counter. Now, the X-Men barely have a chance to lick their wounds before Ahab shows up with a small detachment of hounds to try and get the young X-Men again. This, I think, proving that young Cable and Ahab are not on the same side, though they are after the same thing, and they ended up both having the exact same idea. Funny how that goes. Obviously, the X-Men are raring for a fight, and they have some of their absolute heaviest hitters all ready to go, including Old Man Logan, who, as the comic winds down, has his mind overwhelmed, and it's implied that he's becoming a hound. Uh-oh. Hey, Old Man Logan, remember the last time a villain messed with your mind in the X-Mansion and you ended up killing all of them? Yeah, that was a fun time. So that was X-Men Extermination, everybody, and overall I enjoyed it. It's perhaps not as strong or explosive as the issue that preceded it, but I'm still interested to see where this story is going. I will admit it's a bit of a shame that all this time later, and it seems like the X-Men Blue young team of characters is still making all the same mistakes they were doing when they first came to this time. But hey, this is their goodbye story after all, so I don't want to be too hard on them at the end of the day. Beyond that, not a heck of a lot else to say. I would ultimately give this one a 7.5 out of 10. again.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not take a closer look at some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're feeling in a supportive mood, why not check out the link down in the description for my Patreon page. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. That would be much appreciated. And until we meet again, everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I will be making more comic content that smacks of greatness. Bye-bye, everyone.